Um, all right. Welcome back, everybody, to the Golfers Anonymous podcast. Our guest this week is a special guest of the pod, very good friend of the pod, Mr. Deven. I guess we won't say your last name to protect your identity, but Deven is the first guest that we've had on this pod that actually works in the golf industry. Social media coordinator at Callaway Golf. We'll input some applause there. But Deven, just so you know, how I typically have people introduce themselves on the show is I want you, look at the camera, say your name, how long you've been playing golf, and then your current handicap.
Ooh, I like that. You could say my full name, by the way, Deven Yee, for the people who.
All right, now you said it, not
name.
me. I didn't want people to come after you.
Is it technically not Golfers Anonymous podcast anymore? Since I said my full name.
No, no. We'll keep your full name.
Yeah. So Deven Yee, handicap is 9.8 currently.
Woo!
A little low. The lowest it's ever
below
been.
10. So just for the folk, so it's your name, how long you've been playing golf, and then your handicap.
Yeah. So Deven Yee, been playing golf since probably like 12 or 13. Handicap is 9.8.
All right. For our second guest, below 10. All right. I'm really excited for this episode because, Deven is actually one of my oldest friends at this point, and he's definitely my oldest golf friend. So all my guests to this point, I've been playing golf with for obviously a handful of years, but me and Deven actually, we started playing golf at essentially the same time. So I'm excited to get into this. Deven also works in the golf industry, as I said before, works at Callaway, which has been a lucrative opportunity, not only for him, but his good buddy Noah on the other side of the mic. But essentially, for those of you who this might be your first time listening to the pod, what we do on this show is essentially I bring on a new guest every single week, talk to them about, why they love golf so much, why they keep coming back to the game, because my hypothesis is that everyone has very unique reasons for how they got into golf and why they love playing so much. And golfers in general, it's really just this tribe of people, right? Where if you go out and play golf with someone on any given Sunday that you've never met before, you're out there with you're out there with them for 4 hours. By the end of it, you might as well be best buds, things like that. It's a very interesting game. People don't just play golf; they're truly addicted to this sport in many cases. So basically, Dev, we're just gonna run through some questions I got for you, but we can go off path at any time if you ever got something that comes to mind.
Sounds good.
But to just get started, why don't we start off, Dev, by just telling us how you got into the game, how you got started. Deven is a former baseball player, so maybe you can talk about that transition a little bit.
Yeah, so I mean, like you said before, started playing baseball super young age, probably since I was like 3 or 4. That was like my main sport kind of growing up, but I did a whole bunch of other things like
what position?
Karate, second base, shortstop. So, I have the hands around the greens occasionally.
Got the soft touch.
Yeah. But my dad got me golf clubs probably when I was, like I said, when I first started playing was around like 12 or 13. But I bat lefty in baseball. But my dad, he got me righty clubs. So, but basically he got me righty clubs.
But you still, like, if you're writing something, you still write with your right hand, right?
Yes, correct.
So how did you start batting? This is a golf podcast, but how did you start batting lefty in the first place?
I don't know. That's just kind of what I felt most comfortable with from the left side. My dad, he played baseball a little bit growing up, but he batted, left and right. But yeah, I just started batting lefty for whatever reason. But my dad got me righty golf clubs just so I couldn't mess up my lefty baseball swing, funnily enough. So,
you're actually you're in a pretty unique position here. So you're the third baseball player I've had on here. And I've asked the other two, like, did your baseball swing make it hard to transition to golf? But you just went to the other side. I feel like that was a big hack. You skipped the ugly transition period of baseball to golf.
Pretty much. Yeah, that way I could play,
Um,
golf in the summertime, but simultaneously while playing baseball for tournaments and stuff like that too. So didn't mess up the baseball swing too much, even though I was a terrible hitter in high school. But
love it, man. So what was that? Do you remember what that first set of golf clubs was that your dad got for you?
yeah, it was actually Callaway X Hot irons. It was like that whole set. I think you could probably get at like Costco or something like that. But
Yeah.
it comes with the
Before they
set
were
of
making the
irons.
Kirkland blades.
Yeah. So it comes with the set of irons, I think 4 through pitching wedge. And then it comes with like a driver, 3 wood, 5 wood, all that jazz. So
Since you were batting lefty, I feel like, a lot of baseball players, it's stick and ball, right? Where it's like, so you're still swinging something, trying to make contact. So like if you're making that change, it's typically at least like a generally same movement. Was it when you first started playing golf? Did you pick up on it quickly, even though you were coming from the other side?
I was definitely like able to get the ball in the air. Um, it is like obviously a very different swing. At least for baseball, it's kind of like you want to. I mean, nowadays what we're taught is to kind of dip that back shoulder. So as a lefty, in my case, kind of
Squish
dip
the
that
bug.
like left shoulder, and kind of just level out the swing that way. Whereas like golf, you really want to. This is something that I had trouble with before, but to kind of hit down on the ball. So that's like a big
Mm.
transition for me, at least, from being like a baseball player and then going from that to being a golfer. Like you see a lot of these golfers nowadays who have the baseball background. They'll kind of come across the ball and they'll kind of tend to slice it, but that's just the baseball swing coming into play there. So
Yeah. So you're a 9.8. When did you make the dip below 10?
very recently, actually. I told you and Josh because we're in a group chat. Josh was previously on the podcast, probably the one before me. But I think it happened maybe like 2 weeks ago, something like that. I was playing Bermuda Dunes, which is up in Palm Springs, this little private country club over there. The perks of, I guess, being a Callaway employee. Um,
Private golf course guy.
yeah, no, not at all. Yeah, I pride myself on playing public courses, definitely more than private. But yeah, about maybe 2 weeks ago, it was like a
Very
nine
nice,
hole
man.
round. Been playing a lot of those recently, but I think I shot like 41 on the front, and then that kind of got the handicap below 10 for the first time ever. So
Yeah, that'll do
newly
it.
into the single digit handicap world.
How's it feel?
It feels good, but the last couple of rounds have been real shaky. So
You
I'll
you you
probably
you
get
feel like you're
over that
feeling the
10.
pressure of living up to that sub 10 number.
Oh, 100%. 100%. Honestly, I do not think it'll last too long. We'll see how it goes.
Well,
Definitely
it's
got to
not
get
even
through.
it's not even golf season yet. Well, I guess you're in California, so it's always golf season. But
Exactly, brother.
we'll see where it is in August. Very cool. So I guess let's talk a little bit about how you found yourself at Callaway, if you don't mind. I think you have a very admirable career trajectory where I don't want to spoil the story, but Deven was a public health major back when we were in school. So I'd love for you to kind of say, or tell us how you made that transition over to the golf world.
Yeah, so like Noah said, I majored in public health. Me and Noah actually went to the same school, UMass Amherst. Um, so yeah, I majored in public health. My dream was always to become kind of like a nurse, I guess. I always wanted to help people. Like that was my main thing. Um, so majored in public health, got my nursing degree, graduated UMass Amherst in 2020, so COVID year. Um, so in that during that time, like we had a lot of like once when COVID happened, we had like a few months to kind of just be at home, kind of really think about life as a whole. But for me, I spent a lot of that time kind of thinking about what I wanted to do as a career. And I was like, you know what, like I really don't know if nursing is for me. The this I think it was the summer before that I ended up taking an accelerated biology class, and within the first 2 weeks, pretty much just dropped out of that class. I was like, this is too damn difficult for me right now. So I fully dropped that class. I think I had like a regular written test, and then they have like the clinical exam afterwards. And that was 24 hours after completing that one written test. And I was like, dude, I studied so hard for this one exam, probably probably failed it, honestly. But I was like, I cannot do this clinical one afterwards. But kind of anyways, it really, during COVID, it really made me think about what I wanted for a career. And I've always been into sports marketing, well, sports as a whole. Grew up as a Boston Red Sox fan in Boston. Obviously, got like some of the best kind of sports teams in the world, arguably. Um, so I was like, you know what, I want to try to get into this industry any way I can. So
Yeah.
obviously, like YouTube is your kind of best friend in that situation, and I was able just to look up like how do you do video editing, how do you take photos, um, and through some of these YouTubers, I was able to like learn a lot just on my own. I'm self-taught everything I know. I didn't go to school for, like TV and production, anything like that. So kind of dove into that kind of whole world in space. Originally, my plan was to do a bunch of video editing and hopefully get a job at Disney. That was kind of like my big kind of picture goal, and it honestly it might still be. So I
You
was
know,
able
Devin,
to.
it's funny you bring that up. I feel like one of my like core childhood memories, because I feel like you've always been like a generally creative guy, obviously, and like I feel like you used to be like a pretty good with the old pen and paper doing some doodles. I just have like very vivid memories of you like drawing like Mickey Mouse. Like I feel like you would always just draw like different versions of like Mickey just when we are like sitting in class in
Dude,
like
you're absolutely
fourth
right. That's
grade,
like
fifth
the one
grade.
party trick I got is like, hey, like one thing about me, I know how to draw a Mickey Mouse from memory.
Yeah, love that.
um, yeah. So anyway, during that time, I was able to send out a bunch of kind of informational. I just sent out a bunch of emails to a bunch of random people within like the kind of creative world, and I was able to get an interview, like an informational interview with this guy named Scott Sakamoto. He was he had a role in helping the creation of Raya and the Last Dragon, which is like a Disney animated film, and he basically just he kind of talked me through what the industry is kind of like. I feel like we're getting a little bit off topic, but it is
No, Dev,
in
this is
part,
great, man. This
part
is
of the
great.
journey.
This is great. I love it.
So yeah, he kind of just like told me to keep on going. Like he kind of, I think he majored in biology growing up, and then he kind of made the move to TV and production. Um, and I knew that I wanted to do something in regards to storytelling. And um, Noah actually he started this sports tech company called Real Time Sports a little while back, and he just asked me out of the blue. He was like, "Hey, like I know that you're trying to make this transition. We have an opportunity for you here. Would you like to become like a little video editor for us and kind of just create these little sports edits?" And that's kind of what started the whole thing. So I went from being a video editor um, with Real Time Sports with Noah. He was doing a bunch of the edits as well. Went from being a video editor, and then I got this like small little unpaid internship with this education tech startup called Learning Seeds in Boston. Um, After like 6 months of doing that and like not making any money, I was able to get a production assistant job with the Worcester Red Sox. They're a AAA affiliate for the Red Sox. Spent about a couple months there, um, and then went to the New England Sports Network as a digital video producer before getting the job at Callaway. So it's been quite
Love
the
it,
ride.
man.
I honestly, if you told me like 3-4 years ago I'd kind of be in the position that I am now, I'd be like, yo, like absolutely not. So
Yeah. I mean, power to you, man. I think a lot of people in that position would have just been like, this is what I majored in college. Like, it's too much for me to completely make this change. And I think a lot of people would have just like gone down that original path and not really been maybe thrilled with their situation. But it took a lot of stones to do what you did. So we'll put some applause again in the post production after that story. Um, Sweet, man. Well, thanks for walking us through that. That was really cool. Let's dive into the reason we got you on here. Talk about some golf.
let's
Um,
go.
Twofold question. I want you to tell me about your favorite golfer right now, and then two, your favorite golfer that you've gotten to work with through Callaway, or like just been around through Callaway.
Okay. I mean, I guess I could name one player that'll probably answer both questions,
All
and that
right.
would be uh, Himwoo Lee, Mr. Minwoo Lee over here. The guy's just he's such an animal, and he's such a joy to work with as well. I've only really got to actually work with him just a few times now, but I think the guy's just an absolute stick, and I think that in the next couple of years or so, you're going to see that guy holding up some major trophies.
I mean, dude, he's what? Like, he's only 24 years old, right? He already has like 4 international wins, and this is his
He's actually
first full
So he has
season
a
on
bunch of
tour.
international wins. It's his first year on the PGA Tour.
Right.
First year as a member of the PGA Tour. But yeah, the guy's just unbelievable. He hits the ball so damn hard, probably like 190 ball speed. But yeah, the guy's incredible, and I really think that like he has like a flair to him as well. He's not just like your prototypical kind of golfer. Like he's super active on the social media scene. He always kind of asks for edits and like hey, like how do I get better at social media, things
Right.
like that. But I mean, the guy has like a Lululemon sponsorship, which is
Very cool.
freaking sick in my opinion.
I mean,
Um,
Lululemon, not just to like quickly talk about that, Lulu has always been the best golf clothes. Like, if you ask anyone like what they wear like the ABC joggers, and then like
yes,
I don't really own any Lulu polos, but I'm sure they're like extremely comfortable. And but like I mean, it's about time they started sponsoring golfers.
absolutely, and I think he's the first male golfer that they've really sponsored. Yet, I mean, I think they're gonna get some more people on the scene, hopefully, within the next couple of years or so. But I know they had like Lydia Ko from the LPGA tour. She's like a really popular name. Me and my girlfriend were actually just at we were just at Lululemon today, just like checking out all their stuff.
Dude, I was also there today.
There we go, dude. They're on the come up, dude. In terms of golf stuff, I've obviously like everyone knows about them, but like in terms of making golf clothes, like
Yeah.
dude, they're gonna make some really really cool stuff, and people are gonna catch on to it for sure.
That's where Tiger should have been going, man. Should have taken his talents to Lululemon. Um,
Yeah,
Very cool. And so that's pretty high praise for Min Woo. I mean, I love watching Min Woo. Unfortunately, like he's not in the Pebble Beach Pro Am this week because he doesn't have access to the designated
right.
events yet. But that's pretty high praise, dude. Because correct me if I'm wrong, but you've also seen Mr. John Rahm swing a club right in front of you as well.
Yes. I've been fortunate enough to see John Rahm, a couple of more of our Callaway players like Xander Schauffele, Sam Burns, even some of the LPGA Tour pros up close and personal, like Rosang and Gino Athetical. So it's a real joy to kind of see these players just swing the golf club because it's so different from watching you hit the ball up there or Josh.
What, you don't like my power fades out there?
You got the power fades, but you don't hit the ball like 200 whatever 330 yards,
More like
however far
300,
they hit
yeah.
it. We're getting there though. We're
Um,
working on it.
yeah, one day. But also, you've been around Steph Curry, right? He's on the Callaway golf roster technically.
He is, yeah, yeah. Steph is he's one of our ambassadors as well. Yeah, I mean that guy he really hits the ball really well too. And I consider him to be like outside of the PGA, like in terms of professional athletes in the golf scene, he's up there as probably the most talented, if not like the best golfer, I would say, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, I remember he played in a couple like web.com events a few years ago. I mean, I'm pretty sure it's like him, Tony Romo, and then like John Smoltz are like the best celebrity golfers.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, John
Just based on
Smoltz,
like
man.
handicap. Dude, John Smoltz almost qualified for like the Corn Ferry Tour or something.
Yeah, like Danny
Um,
Woodhead as well.
yeah, Danny Woodhead's really
Who's that?
good. He's
I
like a
don't know
plus
how.
3.
Yeah, it's he almost qualified for the U.S. Open. So
Yeah, he like got through the like weekend qualifier and then didn't make it through the final. Um, but very cool. Okay, so good answer there, Minwoo Lee. And then you obviously do a lot of traveling as part of your job. Is there like a course that you've been to? It doesn't have to be like not that you haven't played at, like just a course you've gone to as part of your job that you were like, oh my god, this place is unbelievable.
it's weird because a lot of people, they think that because I'm in the golf industry, I get to play like a lot of rounds throughout the year when I travel, and I do tend to kind of bring my golf clubs with me, kind of wherever I go. But it is hard, kind of just like just playing around, just like on a Sunday or Thursday, kind of after you're done working or before we start the week of work. But um, I guess probably like PJ West, like stadium course is pretty
Yeah.
cool. I was actually able to kind of work that event with a few of my colleagues, and kind of the way the tour pros the way they plot their way around the golf course is they just hit driver wedge into all these holes, and like I think the winner Ryan, what's his name, something
Nick
Dunlap, right?
Dunlap.
Nick Dunlap, yeah. I think the winning score was like close to 30 under par, which is unbelievable, and I could never even imagine trying
Out
to
of control.
shoot that low. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
we're
So
we're
yeah,
more
PGA
likely
West
to.
stadium course.
So PGA West Stadium course. All right.
Yeah.
And then any courses on your travel calendar this year that you're looking forward to?
In terms of just kind of walking and seeing it, I know that we plan on going to the Women's Open Championship in Scotland. They're going to be playing St Andrews, so
Oh
never even
wow.
stepped foot in Scotland as a whole, but like that's like the home of golf in many regards. So just to kind of be there, knowing like the history and everything that has kind of happened at that course, I think it'll be really special just to, like walk that iconic little stepping bridge on the 18th hole and kind of, like that, when Tiger Woods played there for the final time, he did his like signature goodbye and like wave and everything. It'd be really cool to, you know, kind of walk the same holes as some of these
Yeah.
iconic players, I guess, as you could say.
Well,
So
dude, I mean, I've said this before. I think that's still one of like the coolest things about golf. Like whenever you do get to play one of these historic courses, and obviously, it's not cheap to play a lot of them, but like a course like St. Andrews or Bethpage, where they've had like such historic events there, like you can literally, or like when we were at Torrey, like going up to the 18th hole on the south course, it's like this is the exact spot where Tiger hit that putt to force the playoff, or like
yeah,
this is the spot where so and so did this, and you can like literally hit the same exact shots. And like in basketball, you can't go shoot a jumper against LeBron James. Like I think golf is very interesting where like you can truly go in the same exact arena where these things happened and like try and do the same things or try and pull off the same shot.
yeah, dude, that's incredible. I didn't even think about that, to be honest with you. Like,
Well, there's no other sport where you can do it. Although I will say the one sport you can kind of do it is cycling. Oddly enough, because like these cyclists in the Tour de France, it's
sure,
like
because the
they just
roads
they
and
just
stuff.
go on public roads. They go up these crazy mountains in the Alp, and you could go do that on your bike. So it's like golf and cycling to me is like the two things where you can truly experience like what the pros actually do.
Yeah,
But very cool. You're going to St. Andrews. You're gonna have to take a lot of notes because then we're going there July of 2025.
25, baby.
And so I'm going to a wedding in Scotland, and we're trying to rally the troops to do a golf trip while I'm out there. And I actually just learned that it's Scottish custom for the men to play golf the morning of the wedding. So I was
Are you
already
guys,
bringing my clubs regardless. But that's a
dude? I
fun
had
little
no
thing we're
idea.
gonna do.
That's awesome.
I don't think we'll be playing St. Andrews that morning. But that'll be cool
Totally.
nonetheless to play some True Links golf. But okay, so you're going to St. Andrews. On the topic of golf courses and golf trips, I want to talk about Pinehurst. So
That's great.
one of the guests I had on before, Josh, he's a very well traveled man, very well traveled in the golf world. I think we said he's played golf in like 3 or 4 countries, 12 or 13 states. It's honestly remarkable for a man of such young age to have played golf in that many places. Um,
Yeah.
Meanwhile, me and Deven, we're still getting our feet wet here in the golf trip world. And last September, we went on our first week long trip down to Pinehurst. So we went down there for what was like 5 days. We played one course in the Raleigh area when we first landed. It was don't really remember what the name of that course. Pine Hollows, that's what it was. Then we played Pinehurst number 1, Tobacco Road, Mid Pines, Southern Pines, and Pine Needles. Um,
Yep.
so, Devin, really quickly, I want you to rank the courses that we played down in Pinehurst. And I can't recommend this trip like more like highly enough. Like we
Yeah,
didn't even
for sure.
stay on the Pinehurst Resort. We just found an Airbnb. One, everything is like relatively cheap down there in terms of like food, rental car, lodging. Obviously, the golf is a little expensive, but I think it's actually relatively cheap for the quality of golf course you're actually playing.
Also,
And
like
again,
the
there's like just
proximity.
there's so much good. Exactly. I mean, there's so much good golf down there that you can have a level trip without even playing Pinehurst number 2.
Okay. Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think the proximity is probably like the biggest thing. Like all these golf courses, like Pine Needles, Southern Pines, like Mid Pines, you name them all, are all within 10 miles of each other, which is really remarkable. I mean, it's
Even
insane.
Tobacco Road is only 15 minutes up the road.
Tobacco Road, I mean, and then you got Pinehurst too, which is, arguably the home of golf as well. So,
Yeah, home of
but in terms
American
of like
golf.
naming, like ranking them off, that's difficult, dude. I probably have to say, in terms of like the most fun I had, you got to put Tobacco Road kind of up there. Little Mike Strand's design, just so quirky, man, and it doesn't look like a course that's in North Carolina. I mean, with all like the hills, especially that first tee shot, probably like one of the most terrifying times I've had on a tee box is trying to get the ball in the fairway. And I'm pretty sure I shanked it completely right.
Well, and dude, and then I think the coolest part about that hole is like you're literally just the cart path just rides up a sand dune, like, and you feel like you're in like a
Like
safari.
Australia or something.
Yeah, feels like you're on the moon.
But that was like the biggest roller coaster round of my entire life was playing
Oh,
Tobacco
both of
Road.
us.
Yeah, the both of us. Me and Noah actually rode together that day. But we played 36 that day. So we played Tobacco Road as the second round of the day, but we played Mid Pines, I think, before it, right?
Yeah, Mid Pines in the morning.
Yeah, so we played Mid Pines in the morning, and then Tobacco Road was the second round of the day. Keep in mind, it's like, I think it was nearing like low 90s in heat.
I mean, dude, it was like high 90s. Because we were down there. I mean, we went
Yeah.
the first week of September, and typically it's mid to high 80s, which would have been fine. But we were down there during a true heat wave, so I think the lowest temperature we had all week was like 94.
Yeah, it was absolutely ridiculous. And the worst thing of it all was that the following week it was sunny and like 75 or low 80s. It's
Yeah,
like we just missed out. But anyways, that was just the roller coaster of a round. Mid Pines, I think at that point I was maybe like I think I was like a 11 handicap at the time. I think I shot like an 88 at Mid Pines, which isn't terrible for not seeing
Mid Pines
very.
was tough. Mid Pines was hard.
Yeah. But me and Noah were riding together at Tobacco Road, and I think like if you plot your way around the golf course, that's like a scoreable place. Like
Yeah, I mean
not
the
necessarily.
fairways are relatively open. Like I
Yeah.
mean, there's a ton of blind shots, but if you just kind of like if you hit good golf shots, you're like rewarded there. So we were both like hitting fairways, hitting greens, playing like relatively conservatively. I think you shot 37 on the front. I shot like 39, something like that. I had two
Yes.
birdies. I think you had one birdie, other on the rest for pars.
Yeah. So that was just, and dude, that was actually an insane round.
And the slope is
Like
like 145 there. Like
yes, it's
it's not an
unbelievable.
easy, like we're not trying to brag. It's like a difficult golf course.
Yeah, the heat definitely got, I think, to us both, but especially me. I think I parred the first 7 holes, which I've never done in my entire life. That was the most consecutive pars I've ever had in one round of golf. And then so I shot 2 over 37 on the front, and then I proceeded to kind of lose any energy I had left and played just absolutely horrible golf. Shot like 55 or something on the back,
and
but
we
no,
lost the
that's
match. Like
and we lost.
we were also partners, and like I think we were up 3 at the turn. We were like, oh, there's no way these guys are coming back. We ended up losing by
Yeah,
like 2, like lost by 5 on the back.
just, tale of two nines, man. That's just golf, you know. You think you
Yeah,
got it, and then
seriously.
in a blink of an eye, just you lose all feeling.
That's typically how it goes. So Tobacco Road, number 1. What would you rank number 2?
Tobacco Road would be number one. I think Southern Pines is up there as number two. Um, that place has gone through like a complete renovation. It's super nice. I definitely want to get back there. I guess in like the next couple of years, once when that place is fully finished, and then they got like a whole putting course now, which is sick.
Mm.
So Southern Pines number two. I want to say Mid Pines number three. Pinehurst number one, those greens were just, I think those are the best greens we played all week. Those
So
things are so
fast.
true, so fast.
And it was
Um,
just cool to be on the property, you know.
exactly, to
And
be on a Pinehurst
one
property.
one thing I'll say about Pinehurst number one is that was the first course they had down there. Like that was the first course Donald Ross came down there and designed, and it
Exactly.
still kind of had that like old feel to it, where it didn't necessarily have like the crazy sand traps or like what you think of when you think of Pinehurst number two. But it was
Mhm.
like just very straightforward, but also just like a lot of fun, especially that being like our first round down there. It was like an easy way to get into it, but at the same time, like the greens were no joke. Like, like I think Devin's first putt, like on
Oh,
Pinehurst number
geez.
one, the first hole, he was like, I don't know, maybe you had like 30 feet, truly putted it like 20 feet past the hole off the green.
Yeah, I just had to get it out of my system at that point. I told you guys before the trip even started, I'm gonna putt off the green at some point, and I was like, I might as well just do it on the first hole.
Yep. Yep.
Just get it out of the system, get it over with, and then your expectations go down a little bit.
Yeah, I think you ended up. I think you ended up playing. I think Pinehurst number one was your probably your low round of the trip, right?
Yeah, I think it was 83 or 84 or something at Pinehurst number one. So
Got it.
yeah, so Pinehurst number one would be the fourth, and then I'd probably say Pine Needles at number five.
Yeah.
Still an amazing
And Pine,
course.
even Pine Needle, still great course. I feel like it was just. I feel like the cool thing about and Mid Pines, Southern Pines, and Pine Needles are all owned by the same group,
Mhm.
even though they're all very different. Like I think Southern Pines is just like unbelievable layout, so interesting, beautiful like landscapes. You can see like 10 holes all at once. Mid Pines also very similar, but like very well manicured, really. And we played that like first thing in the morning on like motorcycles, so that was like a
Yeah, that
whole
was epic.
thing in
How
itself.
about that too?
But
Jeez.
then I think Pine Needles, that's where they've hosted like two women's US Opens there, so still like amazing golf course,
Mhm.
but it just each hole was like a little bit more separate. You didn't have the same vistas and views that you had um, on the other two courses. So yeah, I would have a pretty similar ranking there. But why don't we talk about your best round to date? So because just before we went down to Pinehurst, I believe that's when you had your big PR.
Yes. I played the Vineyard at Escondido. So I live in California. I live in Oceanside. So Escondido is a little bit inland, probably about like, and I want to say like 35, 40 minutes kind of inland. Before going into that round, I had played that place about a few times already, so I kind of knew my way around the course. Um, so I was like plotting my way around that. I shot a 77, which is my PR. Um,
On a par 71, 72.
I think it was like I think it's a 71. I want to say, yeah. Played it from the blue tees. It is kind of it is a relatively short course, so it was like a lot of kind of driver flip wedge into these par
Hey,
fours.
Dev, you
But
don't have to justify it, man. A 77 is a 77. You can only play the course in front of you.
yeah, honestly, I didn't even know it was kind of in reach. I was kind of just enjoying my time, having a good round.
Were you
Um,
solo?
yeah, so I've been playing a lot of since moving out to California. Once when I got the job with Callaway in January of 2023, I've made a few friends here and there, but I've been playing a lot of kind of solo rounds, a lot of solo golf, and
Right.
I've actually tended to really like it a lot. I feel like you can really kind of just focus on the golf and um, you can really try to get dialed in. And like in that situation, I think it was like a golf now tee time, and I booked it as a solo. And yeah, I guess I was able to shoot a 77. Luckily,
So you did when you were playing, you didn't even did it cross because like for like when I had shot my PR, I was like, holy fuck, like I'm I'm playing like out of my mind. You didn't really have that feeling while you were going. You're just like, I'm playing relatively well. We'll see how it shakes out.
yeah. I think I birdied two holes in a row. Actually, I think it was on the back. Now it's 13, 14. 13th hole is like a par five. Was able to hit a good drive, and then I hit a 5 wood that came up a little short of the green, got up and down for birdie pretty much over there. Then par four comes up. I think it's the number one handicap, believe it or not. Pound the drive, dead center. Um, And then I was fortunate enough to hit a really good wedge within like 8 feet and then drain the putt. And that's when I kind of knew, I was like, oh shoot, like maybe there could be an opportunity to break 80 here. And um,
And what was your PR before that?
It was an 81. The weirdest thing, no one knows this too, is the first time I broke 90, I shot an 81 at Gardner Municipal Golf Course, freaking New Hampshire.
That's actually hilarious you brought that up. I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
And that was like before any of us really even tracked our handicaps.
Yeah, that was before they probably went down like 2 or 3.
Dude, I completely forgot about that. That's a crazy story in itself. Was that when we were playing with that guy who kept throwing his clubs?
Yeah, that dude was a nut job, dude. I think it was second hole he like threw his clubs, and we're like,
dude, it was like it was like his second swing where he threw his golf clubs. Like I think he hit his drive fine, and then he like sculled a wedge. He was like had a 100-yard shot. I think he threw his wedge like all the way damn near to the green. That's how far he threw it.
We've been really fortunate. Like me, Noah, and Josh have played a lot of rounds together, and we played with a lot of singles here and there. He was probably up there as being probably like the worst single that we've ever played with. Pretty bad golf.
That was
the fact I shot 81.
Aside from the fact that you shot 81, I remember my defining memory of that. Aside from the guy throwing his clubs, it had to have been like I don't know the 15th or 16th hole. There's like a really long par 3. It's like a 250-yard par 3. And no offense, Deven. Yeah, but no offense. This was a time where you weren't exactly hitting the ball very far.
Yes.
And did you pull driver? Is that what it was?
I think I pulled driver, or it was 3. I'm pretty sure it was driver. I was like, I'm gonna hit a driver.
Yeah, whatever you did, I think you kind of sculled it, and it just like since you hit driver, just like ended up being like it like thinned its way up to the green and ended up like 4 feet from the hole. And I think you tapped in for birdie, and I was like, okay,
this is what happened.
Devin's just having one of those days.
Yeah, I think I topped my drive, probably went 20 yards into this little ravine, and I hit the ball for my second shot, hits the flag stick, but I scull it. So it would have been like 30, 40 yards past the green, ends up hitting the flag stick, drops like 2 feet next to the pin, and I just like tap in for a par. And like that's when you kind of just know it's at that point I was like, okay, today's just my day. The golf gods are on my side.
Yeah. Well, and Deven too. I remember now that you're really like jogging my memory, it like took you a while to break 90. Like that was a big like deal for you because you were like
all 3 of us to break 90 actually.
Yeah, like you were arguably the best golfer, but you just like couldn't break 90. Like I remember there was one time, dude, like you shot like 42 on the front and then shot like 94. like you would always come out so hot and then you just couldn't close the deal, and then you shot 81 and it was like about freaking time.
Yeah, Jesus. I don't know how I did that after not breaking 90 ever, and then you just like when you beat your PR by more than like 10 strokes, it's just like, what the heck, dude?
Yeah, that was crazy. I think your PR was like 93 at the time.
Yeah, it had to.
Yeah, what a time. Freaking Gardner Municipal Golf Course. We gotta get back there at some point. Yeah. What question did I even ask you? Oh, your best round ever. Okay, so that's your best round ever, 77. Yeah. Do you remember your like best golf shot, or is there like a golf shot that you're most proud of?
Golf shot that I'm most proud of. I honestly forget the course. Dude, that's a tough question, dude. I don't really hit a lot of good golf shots, so it's tough to kind of think back and
you chip in a lot. Something about Deven is he's good for about a green side chip in like once every other round. It
hasn't happened in a while, dude. I guess maybe that par 3 when we played with that renowned chef in Miami at Miami Dunes Golf Club or something like that. And I got up and down and then for par. I don't know. That's not even a good one, dude, to be honest.
Well, because you don't. Well, do you have is there like I feel like the answers I've gotten so far are either like a really good 3-wood on a par 5 to get on green in 2, or like a really good drive to get on a green, or just like a putt. But if you don't have one, man, maybe it just hasn't come yet. Maybe that's what you'll keep an eye out for this golf season.
I just don't hit a lot of miraculous golf shots. I'll be honest. It's a lot of boring golf, a
Hey,
lot of conservative golf.
boring golf
But
gets
boring golf is
gets
good
the
golf
job
sometimes.
done. Yep. All right. So you don't have a favorite golf shot yet, but do you have a favorite club in the bag?
Right now, it's definitely driver for me. I don't know what it is, but ever since getting that new paradigm from 2023,
Oh, sure. Some
I don't know what
Callaway
it is.
propaganda.
No, dude, I'm speaking the truth right now. That thing is just unbelievable. At first, like I just couldn't hit the dang thing. Before having that paradigm, I had the TaylorMade like M5, and I would just hit these low, little skinny kind of running driver shots. But I don't know if it's like the evolution of my swing or if it's like just the paradigm. I'm assuming it's probably just the paradigm, but I guess I also figured out how to kind of hit up on the ball. And for whatever reason, that paradigm has been awesome for me. So driver, definitely the favorite club in the bag. I have the new paradigm AI smoke triple diamond driver. I've been liking. So I want to say right now it's a driver.
So,
Yeah.
so Dev, something I want to ask you, and I don't think driver's always been your favorite club in the bag.
Oh, by no
You used to love that trusty 5 wood. You bring that out anywhere from 150 to 220.
It was a four
Um,
hybrid, dude, and I would hit it on par threes that range from 150 yards to like 200 yards. I'm gonna hit a soft four hybrid from the tee.
big feel guy.
Yeah, big field guy.
But along that same note, um, since you're such a big feel guy, you're a big what's the word I'm looking for? You love to tinker. You're a big tinkerer when it comes to your clubs. You know, you're always testing out new putters. You're switching out shafts, switching out club heads. You were playing you
Yeah,
brought the Rogue head when we were down in Pinehurst. Tell me why you like tinkering with the clubs.
oh, man. I just think like golf is one of those games where it's like you could kind of always improve. You know what I mean? Like granted, like I'm not even close to shooting or being a scratch player, but like I've kind of like just it's fun just testing product, honestly. And luckily enough, I've been fortunate to have some of these clubs at my disposal. So I'm like, maybe this is the club. Maybe this 7 wood is like the club I've been needing to have for, you know, my entire golf career, but like haven't had it in the bag yet up until now. So I think it's just like it's fun to just test product, and um, Callaway has really like given me that opportunity to do that.
Yeah.
So lately I've been tinkering a lot with like putters. We got like the new A1 Jailbird Mini that just came out, so I'm gonna maybe try to put that in the bag. I got a lot of other putters in this little stash to the left of me over here that I've been
You
just
got you
putting
got
around.
so many clubs in the house. You're using them as a decoration at this point.
Pretty much. At this point, it'd
But
be
it's
nice to
funny you
get a new
mentioned the
shot.
AI one. I don't know if you saw Wyndham Clark just shot a 60 with the AI one, draining putts from all over the place. And to briefly change topics, from holes 6 through 14, he went eagle, birdie, 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 bogey, and that was a bogey save from the fringe.
Two more birdies
Um,
after that. Yep.
and then birdie, birdie, and then a birdie on 18 to shoot 60. And he had an eagle putt, missed it short by like 5 inches
That would have been
at Pebble
incredible.
Beach.
60 is like incredible, but like imagine him like shooting like 59. Like if he didn't like bogey
Well,
that one hole and just would have shot 59. Or
and dude,
had
it's
to
not
bogey.
even it's not even just like the tournament record. It's also just
Yeah.
like the course record
Record.
period. Like some amateur shot 61 there a few years ago, like 2017. And so now it's just like Wyndham Clark owns Pebble Beach, essentially.
Yeah.
um, but
Good for
anyways,
him.
going back to you tinkering with the clubs, like what's that process? Like you're just like, oh, this is like a cool new thing. I'll hit it in the sim a little bit. Then like if it goes well, throw it in the bag. Or you just like pick it up, see how it feels, see if you want to bring it on the course.
I don't know. I'm not a big like I don't know.
I
I'm
guess
not a
my
big
main
sim guy.
question is like, are you looking at like
Yeah.
numbers to see if it's actually like performing better? You just or just like if it feels good, you'll play it.
I don't know. I'm an all field guy, like you said. If it feels good in the hands, goes relatively kind of straight, then it's like that's the one. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
but putting for me is probably like the worst part of my game, and like I'm searching for something, and I hate to
Your putting's
admit
gotten a
that
lot better though.
it has gotten a lot. Yeah, it's gotten a lot better, but like that's definitely like the part of my game that I kind of want to improve the most, I guess, in 2024. Um, and I hate to be like, oh, it's like it's me. I'm the one who's putting bad. It's like I want to blame it on the putter. You know what I mean? So it's like, oh, the putter is the solution to me becoming a better golfer. Like, so I'm kind of just searching for the right weapon over here.
Yeah. So let's talk about this putter thing for a little bit, Dev, because not only are you a tinkerer with your golf clubs, you're also a bit of a
Oh boy.
tinkerer with your golf routine, your setup, your grip on the putter. Like, why don't you tell me a little bit about your some of your routines on the golf course?
Of us three, I'm definitely the one who takes the longest over putts and probably on the tee box. I used to be plenty worse. I've definitely improved over the last couple years. um, Dude, I couldn't even tell you. Like, I just stand over the ball, and whenever I feel like I'm ready to go, I'll go. I'm not as bad as Brian Harmon, where he like waggles for 20 straight times and takes about like a minute to actually swing the club. Um, but yeah, it's a feel thing, and I should
Well,
really get
dude,
into
then
routine.
you were doing the hitch for a little bit, the Matt Wolf
Matt
thing.
Wolf action. Dude, I've been all over the place in regards to like just feel, but it's part of the evolution of being a golfer, I guess, as you
And
could say.
now look at you. You're a 9.8. Nobody can say shit.
Yeah.
Well, before we wrap up, I got a few more questions for you. One, if you like, I guess you don't have a most memorable golf shot, but do you have like a favorite like memory from playing golf all these years?
Favorite memory, huh? Outside of probably playing with like you guys at Pinehurst, that's definitely up there too. My parents actually they just visited all the way from Boston. Me and Noah are originally from Boston. We grew up in Brookline, um, just outside of Boston. But my parents are still over there, but they're able to actually visit me just last week. So I was able to finally book a tee time at Torrey Pines, the North Course, to play the front nine right after Farmers Insurance Open, and I was able to play golf with my dad a full 9 holes, and that was his first time playing an ocean course. Torrey Pines, obviously, like an amazing venue. Granted, it was the North Course and not the South Course, but I think just kind of sharing that time with my dad. We got a tee time at sunset. We teed off at like 3:27, so we were able to fit in 7 of the 9 holes. But kind of just experienced that with him. Um, I think that was maybe, I guess, my most memorable kind of round to date, I guess you could say.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to get Andy on Golfers Anonymous as a guest someday.
Oh,
How's his golf game looking these days?
it's looking a little rough. I don't know if these AI smoke irons are helping him or not, but
We won't. We'll cut that out. No negative press.
yeah, it's okay. It's a work in progress for the guy. He just needs to get out there more. It's tough being in Boston with all the, the crazy weather and stuff and such. So
Yeah,
just gotta get the man out there.
tough in the winter. Has you working at qualified? Has you working at Callaway inspired him to play a little bit more?
No, I think it's the opposite, honestly. Since working at Cali, he just played less. Honestly, the guy, like, I'm like, Dad, like, you have these clubs at your disposal. Like, I gave him the new paradigm in 2023, probably used that thing about like 2-3 times throughout the year. And he's like, Dev, can I have another one? Like, can I have the new stroke? I'm like, sure, yeah, you can have, but are you gonna actually use it?
He just wants the new toys.
Yeah, he just likes the bells and whistles. He's a guy that typically likes to just show off a little bit. He likes the
Yeah,
flex that he's out there, and not really so much for like the love of the game to be out there. But I think he enjoyed the round at Torrey Pines, hopefully. So
yeah, love it. All right, last question, Devin. So you said your dad. He's not out there for the love of the game. But for you, what is the love of the game? Why do you keep playing golf, man? Why did you want to work in golf? I guess like what keeps you coming back? Why are you so addicted to this sport we all love?
ooh, I like that closing question right there. That's a good one. I've always been a person that kind of like works towards something. Like I like having like a goal. I like having a routine, and kind of golf has allowed me to do that. I played kind of baseball all throughout my life. Even played like a little bit of college baseball my freshman year at Wheaton College before I transferred over to UMass Amherst. And ever since not being able to play baseball, I've kind of always found myself kind of on the golf course. And I saw this really funny clip on Instagram recently, and it's like there's like two types of golfers out there. They're the ones um, who are kind of like ex kind of collegiate kind of baseball players or whatever, and then like you have like your country club type of kids who have played since they're really little, and I kind of fall into that ex collegiate kind of former athlete golfer, and just like Noah, just like Josh. So um, yeah, I like finding myself in a routine and kind of just like always working at something. You know what I mean? It just gives me a lot of joy just being out there, soaking up some sun, especially in California, which is really nice. So yeah.
Love it, man. All right. So I think that's a good place to wrap up. Thank you, Deven, for coming on. Next time you come on the podcast, though, it's mandatory that you have a most memorable golf shot. So you better be
I better
aware
start
out there. Next time you stripe one, you better store that in the memory so you can talk about it on the pod.
There we go. Okay, I look forward to coming back, brother.
All right, thanks, man. And everybody, if you were gracious enough to listen to us blab for the past 50 minutes, make sure you leave us a 5-star review or even a 6-star review, and then subscribe, follow Spotify, iTunes, all that good stuff. Find us on TikTok, Golf Culture. All right, have a good one, everybody.